About 5 years ago. Late in the evening, I was sitting with 6 of my friends, one of whom was an imam, and we were chatting. During the conversation, the topic turned to the subject, and finally we started talking about jinns. We realized that dry talk about jinns doesn't excite us. So let's go out into the forest, thinking that maybe we would meet a jinn. Anyway, we were wandering in the forest, chatting and chatting. It was around 1 a.m. We were moving through the forest, but at the same time we were scared. But nobody shows that they are scared. The forest is pitch black. We move forward with the phone light. After walking like this for a while, the forested area ended, and we reached a grassy field. There we discovered 3 grave-shaped pits about 1.5 meters deep, which I guessed had probably been dug by treasure hunters. After seeing these pits, I started to get scared. I said, "We'd better go back now. Let's not fall victim to a blind bullet by hunters here." But my companions ignored me and continued to examine the excavations with curiosity. I mean, okay, 3 graves dug in the middle of a field were interesting, as well as scary. But I wasn't sure what my friends had found in these pits to examine so much. Were they going to find treasure or corpses just left in these open pits or graves? Even my friend, whom I called my imam friend, was bent down like the others, examining one of the pits with careful eyes. Suddenly, something hit this imam friend in the chest very violently. We couldn't even see what hit him, but the sound of the impact was very bad. My friend was thrown back 3 meters by the impact and fell on his back. He stayed where he fell. We all froze. I thought my friend was dead. If that thing that hit my friend was a physical substance, it would have been impossible for us not to hear the whistling sound of an object coming at that speed. Also, after the impact, that object would have to somehow bounce back or fall to the ground just like it did to our friend. There was no object that we could say, "This is what hit him." My first involuntary reaction was to start reciting prayers. You know, when you are in a nightmare state, you are awake, you want to shout, call someone or recite a prayer, but you can't. I felt like my throat was choked and I couldn't say anything. About a minute or so passed. After we got over the initial shock of this unexpected event, we lifted our friend up. He was not in as bad a condition as we thought. He was able to stand up and walk. He was just a bit dazed. He was also a bit dazed just like us. After lifting our friend to his feet, we panicked and said, "Let's get out of here." We started to walk back the way we had come in silence, with all our timidity. We had walked 150 meters or so. We were just near the end of the field and the beginning of the forest. We heard 2 people talking, and at the same time, crackling sounds came from the forest. We all stopped at the same time. We looked at each other. This fearful silence lasted for a while. It's hard to say how long it lasted. To make sure that we all heard the same thing, that we all stopped for the same reason, I asked the friend walking next to me why he stopped. He said he heard voices talking. Yes, now we were sure. We were not alone there. Out of instinctive caution, we all listened to the sounds coming from the forest. The sounds of talking kept coming. But the voices we heard speaking were not in our language, or rather in any language that we could understand. Someone or something said strange words that I still remember today, even though it has been a long time since the incident, which did not make any sense to us. Another voice, as if responding to him, pronounced some other meaningless words. The imam started reciting some prayers for protection. After what we had just experienced, it was not wise to go into the forest. But it was the only way to reach the roadside, where we had parked the car. The first time we had entered the forest with a smile. Now we entered the forest out of fear, reciting prayers. We came out of the forest, reciting prayers. We finally reached the road. When we reached our village, our home, we talked about what we had been through until the morning, but we could not come to a conclusion.